sorry about that. I've killed that query because I just think it's probably too much. So I think what we probably want to do is get rid of the really popular ingredients, because that must be an absolute nightmare with trying to do the paths. So I think we need to probably be a bit pragmatic with that. So I'm going to give it one more go before I sort of take this offline and have a go with some more pragmatic approaches. But I'm going to use an example of I'm going to use an adaptation of Nathan's suggestion of putting a new label on everything but the popular ingredients, and then we're going to try reloading it. So have another go. We can do this. It's gonna be amazing. So let's do the original query where we were listing out all the popular recipes. Oh my goodness, that was quite a few queries ago, wasn't it? Aha. Okay, so as a quick reminder, we had things like olive oil and butter and garlic cloves. So let's run that. So what we'll do, let's have a quick peek, just make sure that's the right query. That's the one. And let's say we're going to, oh my goodness, these are some big ones. So let's make an executive decision and shall we say? Okay, let's do this. So let's say anything that appears in let's go for anything if it's less than we're only include it if it's less than 1,000 ingredients. So we'll give everything that's less than 1,000 ingredients, we'll give it a new label. Let's do that. That sounds like a sensible plan. Okay, cool. So let's do with I count is less than, I think this is the right way of doing it, or we'll just double check. Return I.name, limit 5, so actually I.name I don't know what's going to happen here, let's see what happens. No, it doesn't like it. Okay, give it an alias. Is that going to do it? I can't quite remember the exact syntax for this, so I might need to go off and have a quick peek if we don't get it the first couple of times. Yes, that's what I was just thinking. I was probably missing a where. Okay, excellent. All right, thank you very much, Nathan. So let's set a new label. So I think it's just set I : temp. Let's just double check. I can't spell either. I think it's just that. Let's double check. Set a label on a node. Oh, it's just that without the brackets. Okay, cool. cool. Okay. Now let's try loading again. I feel this is going to be the one. This is the one where we're going to be successful. Copy and paste our new query, and we're going to do temp, and temp. Oh, that was, wow, that was super quick. Okay, why have we got a relationship count of 0? That's slightly concerning. What have we missed? Yes. Little blooper here. Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. Good point. Let's just copy this one again, as I've butchered that one. Temp, there we go. Right, so our ingredient was temp, so pivot across temp, and return that back. Okay, so what we need to do is just get rid of the previous one that I did. And then let's rerun that one. Okay, cool. Okay, so it might take a while, but I guess if we, so let's have a quick, so whilst that's doing its thing, I had 3,000 ingredients, and let's get rid of that. Okay, so so I guess that's a really interesting question. So obviously whilst that's loading, the really interesting question is, how do you pick a sensible threshold for that? So that's going to be a nice bit of investigative work, because I guess you can. It's going to be a difficult one, because we had an example there of, like, if we think about things like a latte, a cappuccino, flat white, you know, they're all going to have milk, which we saw was a really common ingredient, and we removed that. And the other one was coffee. So I guess in that example, maybe coffee's not so prevalent. So that, you know, so we'll be able to say they're all the same, because, you know, they've got a one-to-one mapping. I guess the really interesting one is going to be things like if we decided that actually 1,000 is still a pretty high threshold and we need to drop that. We're probably going to get this really interesting thing around, what do we do about carrots and potatoes and onions, which are really, really common. But there's, you know, potentially there's things where you're just going to have that mix, like, I don't know, roast vegetables or something like that. So that's going to be an interesting one. Oh my goodness, I don't think it's my internet that's making it slow. I'm guessing that's still, I guess even though we've removed some of the really common ingredients, it's still going to be quite a chunky query. So what I might do is go away and as a second thing is go away and just generate a new sort of CSV. So I suspect it's probably a lot quicker to go off and use other tools to just create to generate what the relationship should be and account for those ones, and then sort of spit those out into a new CSV. And then maybe this is a good sort of opportunity to start playing with the native projection, where you're creating a more targeted graph for answering a specific question. So the main reason why I'm not too keen to go away and start doing too much to this one is I'm trying to keep it quite close to the original data source that it is, but that's okay, we can have a play with that. So hopefully it'll be loaded. I'm going to be very excited when we get to run this weekly connected components. So I guess the interesting thing here is, do you remember how when we didn't have the property, how it loaded in about between 60 to 80 seconds, whereas now it's taking a long time? I suspect the big sort of slow element here is it's having to I'm just trying to think what would happen, because we're not specifying we're doing a count, so it has to presumably bring every single example of where those exist into memory, and then it's doing the count. So I suspect it's trying to load everything from the database that is a recipe, that is the ingredient and the paths and links, so that it can go off and do a count. So I suspect that's what's happening. So I'm just trying to think, what could we do to try and force it to say to sort of do it one at a time. I'm just trying to think, is there a smarter way of writing this? Oh, I'll have a think about that, because yeah, I may end up just writing the relationships and then using some kind of periodic commit or something to sort of manage it, so it doesn't try to pull everything into memory. So this I've tried to put it off, but I think we're probably going to be down the route where we just need to write in those relationships between the two recipes, which is fine. It's fine. So what I do intend to do is I will write this up, because obviously I was talking about I need to do a follow-up blog post. So we are coming to I think we've been going on for about almost 2 hours. So I'm going to keep going until we get to the hour. And what I will do is I'm absolutely determined to get weekly connected components running on the recipes. So I will go away and create that relationship between the two, or create a specific database with those two data sets put in there, and I will write up my experiences. So I will write up my experiences with this, because I am very keen to get this done, and it's a bit, I think we have a nice little journey about different approaches we use to do entity resolution of the data. And I suspect the running of the algorithm is going to be a lot quicker than getting the data in there, and that's fine. It's understandable what's going on and why that's happening. So I guess if you've got any questions, do fire them in, or any thoughts or something you want me to explore as well. And we can definitely we'll definitely be revisiting this. It's quite a beefy subject. Let's have a quick peek what somebody posted earlier. A talk to B in book H, C talk to D in book J. Right, I don't know if you're still here, Javier. One thing I will say regarding your question, so Javier asked about looking at interactions between the main characters. So what may be really relevant to you here is to have a look at the what do they call it? Game of Graphs? Graph of Thrones? I can't remember the name, but basically there's been a number of blog posts and they talk about how can you find influential characters. It's based on the sort of Game of Thrones, the Book of Ice. Is it Book of Ice of Fire? I can't remember the technical name for the Game of Thrones series. And basically in these posts they effectively do that. They look at some of the modelling about the characters and what book they were in and how they interact. So that may well be a really good starting point to go and have a look at that, and that might help you with solving that problem. So do have a look. Let me see if I can find the link. So let me check. Are you still with us, Javier? Oh no, you've logged off. Oh, I'm really sorry. If you happen to catch sort of follow the video, so do have a look at the Game of Graph stuff. I think that will probably answer your question. Yes, thank you, Nathan. It's been really fun. It's a bit sad that we haven't been able to get as much working in the live stream as possible. But oh, sorry, I just realised. Look, we've got the magical green tick. We can run the algorithm. I'm so excited. Yes, this has been fun, and hopefully we're going to go out on a high. Let me pull the query that I put together. So what we're going to do here. So we're going to run weekly connected components. We have got the weight property of CI, so that's the one that we've put in. We want to yield the node ID and the component ID. So the component ID is going to be our community link. And what I'm doing with that is I'm going to I want to merge the that component ID. So I'm going to create a new node with that. And from there, I then want to create a relationship between the recipes that we've pulled back again and what community they belong to. And I'm not returning, so this bit's not happening. So we're doing a create. So I'm just going to quickly add an index here at the top, just in case. So okay, right, let's see what happens. Oh no, I forgot to put, did I put a semicolon? Did I remember to put a semicolon at the end of my top one? That's fine, that's okay. It's all good. Right. Oh, I'm dead excited what's going to come up. Let's get rid of this. Oh, it's run. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we've got. Let's bring back some of these. Oh no, we've only got 4. That's alright, we've only got 4 communities, but that's fine. That's better than previously when we only had 2. So let's see what's happened. These are going to be some big. I feel a bit afraid actually to expand these. Let's go for the higher number one because there weren't that many recipes. Okay, so gluten. Oh, what's the name of this? So GlutenFree Pancakes lives its own community. Oh my goodness, what happened here? Okay, that's fine. We'll have a look what was going on in there. Quick and easy party nibbles. I'm going to have a look at what the ingredients of that is. They've probably got like some really. It's probably going to be like you nip down to your local supermarket and you buy the sort of ready to bake spring rolls or something. Oh yes, there we go. So we've got the various different notes here, but you can see we've probably got things like party bites. Hang on, those are the keywords. So where's our ingredients? They're in pink. Oh, that's exciting. So the ingredient for our party nibbles is ingredient, and presumably that's the only mention of it. So okay, that makes sense. We know why that's happened. So let's compress this back down again. Oh, so what was in this one? Slow cooker bio yogurt. So that's presumably going to have yogurt and milk. So, and we excluded milk because that was quite a popular one. So milk we excluded, so it's only got live yogurt, and I think this is where we discovered there's only one yogurt, which is why we want to go away and deal with the duplicates, and that's fine. So I will go away and clean those up. So we know what that means. We know that the community with label 0 is going to have a crazy number. That's going to be like the rest of the 11,500 rest. Okay, so that's fine. So that's interesting. We've done that, and so now this gives us a really good sort of thing to go off and investigate. Why are these behaviours happening? So the first obvious thing to go away and do here is to clean up those duplicates. So we talked about the almonds as an example. We had like 4 or 5 different types of almonds. So if nothing else, as long as we clean up the plurals, the tenses, and that kind of thing to group those together, maybe that's going to help with patching these together. Maybe the other interesting thing to try with the weakly connected components is, how we were using ingredients as our as our pivot point for connecting between 2 recipes, and this is probably sort of asking for punishment and pain, but maybe we want to go via the ingredient component, so maybe that will be interesting to have a look at what goes on there. So again, we want to exclude the really popular components, but maybe there's something interesting there, and that potentially is going to help us overcome those challenges with, like, is cherry tomato a cherry or a tomato, and that kind of thing. So okay, that's something I'm definitely going to go and have a play with, and I am very keen to try and get something coming out of weakly connected components that makes a bit more sense. So I think a little bit of thinking there around what we do. So we've excluded the really popular ingredients, and maybe it makes sense as well to get rid of the rare ingredients as well. So let's quickly go back to our ingredients query that we had. So let's go in the opposite direction. Let's just order by count. So by default, if I get rid of this, it will order ascending. And what we probably want to do is maybe we want to get rid of the rare ingredients, because we're not so fussed about creating communities of recipes that, like banana leaf. Not that I've got anything against banana leaves, but maybe we're not so worried about this, because what we care about to some extent is we want the things where we've got quite a few. So obviously, a load of these are going to be some kind of we need to do some deduping or entity resolution of the ingredients. So things like broccoli florets, we probably want to roll it back in. Yes, I can do here's one I prepared earlier. If you give me a second, I'll show you the Louvain community one that I've done. So just as an example, we probably some of these we're going to want to make some decisions to roll down. That's fine, we need to do thinking around that. And we probably want to get rid of a lot of these where it's just one, so they're not providing much information. So maybe when we redo that graph, we're going to also remove anything that's used in, say, less than 50 recipes or something, like an arbitrary value. So maybe we need to do, so we have an upper limit and we also have a lower limit, and that will be interesting. So I will go away and have a go at that, and again I will write all of this up because I think this is interesting, and this is all a good learning, and this is a good way to work with the graph algorithms. Let me show you the Louvain stuff. So what I did with that, what you'll spot is I've got an entity here. And so what I did with the Louvain community detection, so on this side, what I did was when I tokenized all of the ingredients, so if we come back to cherry tomato, and we had cherry and tomato, and what I did there was I did, if I remember this correctly, so I did node similarity. So I did node similarity between other ingredients based on ingredient name. So basically, take something like cherry tomato and beef tomato, and did node similarity between the two based on the amount of overlapping words that they had. And then off the back of that, then did Louvain community detection to try and group similar ingredients together. So let me bring back some of the data from that. So again, yes, we can have a look at how we do the, do we do community detection on the ingredients as well? But I'll show you what I did with the other one. So if I do, let me just quickly remind myself quickly what direction the entity went to. I can't remember what state it was. I was playing with the various thresholds at what made the most sense. So we've got entity. Okay, so entity contains ingredient. Okay, so let's do that. So let's do, and I think entity is, did I not call it name? Let me have a, let's bring some entities back and then we can rewrite it. So I'll show you what I've done. It's really fun because this is a great example of where and the various cleaning that we did and then do the node similarity and so forth works really nicely for resolving things. So I think I called it IDs, the ID, yeah. Okay, so let's do this then. So let's go match entity contains memories. Oh yes, so it's outbound. Contains member I ingredient, and then let's do return e.id and collect i.name, and let's return that. There will be a mix and match of things. I could have ordered them, but that's okay, it's all fine. So you can see an example of some of the things where it's worked well. So so again, same idea. I ran the Louvain community detection algorithm. Same approach I did there as I did with the weekly connected components. So what I did was rather than writing the results to a property or something like that, I like to create a separate node because I think it's easier to kind of, certainly for me, to see what's going on. And I've linked them. So here I've linked the ingredients to the communities. So you can see, for example, here you've got sort of obviously not all of the results that we expect, but it's done a reasonably good job of linking together like all the different types of vinegar together, sugars. So you can see like it's brought together all the sugars. So this is all about tokenizing these ingredient names, going through doing corrections for plurals, for tenses. The fact that we've tokenized the ingredients means it doesn't matter what order things come in. So I've got a great example of, oh, is it in here? Or I think it was the chicken where you had the example of boneless, skinless chicken fillets, and then you had skinless, boneless chicken fillets. It's like you don't care about the order of the words, and by tokenizing the words, then you completely just throw away any concern about what order the component names come in. But yes, you get an example here, like you got all the flowers. It works quite nicely. And again, as long as you accept the fact that you're going to have a degree of errors, and then obviously you just work out what degree of error is acceptable in your use case, and it's fine. So here, look at this. It's great. Like all the vast majority of flowers have been pulled together. Our good friend, the various forms of almonds have been grouped together. You can see how we've dealt with plurals. All the yogurts are together. All the various forms of vanilla. Sugar's a great example. How do you deal with things like light brown muscovado sugar or light muscovado sugar? It's joining them together. It's so and it'll be interesting and sort of great fun as well when we get the data to set that we start doing community detection as well with the recipe. So it's something to, I guess, bear in mind as well, is that the reason why I was quite keen to have a play with the weekly connected components is it's quite a fast algorithm to run, whereas Louvain community detection is a bit slower. But I'm just trying to think, is it worth us having a go at running Louvain on this, as we already have the data, we already have the projection. So, go on then. Last one, and then we're going to call it a day. Let's see what happens. Worst case scenario, we get errors thrown at us, and that's fine because we learn from errors. So let's have a look. Do I have a here's one I prepared earlier job? I am just going to quickly copy it from my blog post and alter. grab. So we've already got, oh, don't do that. So what was the graph that we loaded for Louvain? Just double check. So we loaded ingredient, ingredient to ingredient. Okay, we've got those pods, so we can, yeah, let's reuse that. I'm just going to take that and let's see what happens. Oh, let's create entity 2. I'm going to be lazy. So we're going to use our weakly connected component projection. We're going to yield the ID community ID, set the community ID, and well, we know I is going to be recipe here. So okay, let's see what happens. This should be fun. Always that nervous bit, and I don't know if I've pressed play or not, but it's kind of paused. I think I have. Wow. We went to that huge amount of effort of getting the graph up into getting the projection up into memory. I think it's only fair we have a go at running Louvain on it before we call it a day. We'll see what happens. I think we've got something like, so I think we've got like about 3,080 ingredients and around 11,500 recipes, so I'm not sure how long this is going to take to run. Might be quite quick, might be a bit long, that's okay. Okay. Still running. As I know my yes. I think it is, and as I've got a 4. I think I've only got 4 cores on my laptop as well. So 4 cores and 16 gig of RAM. So it's my laptop's certainly earning its dinner. That's all I can say. It's doing some hard work. Okay. Ooh. Okay, right, we have completed. I am very excited to see what happens. Oh, so let's bring back some sample entities. Okay. Oh dear. I'm just going to quickly restart browser just in case. It can be a little bit. Let's see if it a little bit better now. Okay. Okay, well that's promising. We have got at least 25 entity 2 nodes, so let's let's bring back what it has found. So let's do map. Actually, let's just recycle the previous query that I did. So entity 2 contains member recipe. Let's see what happens. Oh, I feel like it needs drum roll. Okay, that's a very, community 0 is a very large community. Okay. It looks like this is too much for browser, so what I'm going to do is let's threshold the number of... Oh no, I killed browser. Hang on, let's try again. Maybe we'll first see how big each of the communities are and then we'll cherry pick which one we bring back. So let's go back to this and let's return count I as C, order by C ascending. Let's see what's going on. Oh wow, okay, so we have got some pretty large communities, but that's okay. I think we discussed some of the things that we can do to try and calm that down, but we do have 25 communities, so we have a lot of these that we've got the one. So okay, we talked about what we might do to remove some of those, but let's have a look at these ones. So let's just do... Let's have a look at... Oh no, don't do that. Let's have a look at 8, 7, 29, 3, 6, 6, 4, 14... I'm not writing that number. 23 and 45. Let's do that. So let's have a look at those. Let's see what's... Oops. Let's see what's in those communities. So, and do collect my.name. Interesting. Okay. So I guess let's put the let's pick one of these and have a look at what the ingredients were. So okay, let's do this. So let's do I.name. So what we're going to do is let's keep the entity. Let's keep the recipe. Let's get the ingredients for the recipe, and maybe I should now call this R so that we don't confuse ourselves, or confuse myself certainly. And let's match R contains ingredient, and then let's do R.name I collect I.name order by E.id, so that we keep all the ingredients together, and let's see what's going on. Okay, so we look at the community one here, so let's see what's going on. So okay, so that's something to go away and investigate what's going on there, because just quickly having a look at this, certainly within community 4, it doesn't scream at me that there's a lot of common ingredients. So I see they've all got onion, which I think we didn't exclude. So I think flour there was over 1,000, so that didn't get loaded up. But they've got yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not sure what's happened for them to join those communities. So let's have a look at some of the other ones. So look at community 7. Yeah, it's very interesting. Okay, so something definitely to have a look at and investigate how it's come to the decision to bring those together in the same communities. But okay, it's good. We had a look, we maximised the usage of the projection that we spent a lot of time to get up into memory. But no, it's really cool. So I think I'm going to leave it there. It's been a pretty long session. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Thank you very much to you all for your questions. So thank you very much, Nathan as well, and to Muzza as well, for coming and giving me your ideas and suggestions and help and debugging. Really, really appreciated. It's been great fun. So I will definitely be writing up all of these things, and I think it's a really interesting exploratory data set to work with and think about what things work, what things don't, and any gotchas. But yes, no, thank you very much. That was great fun. Sorry for the various droppages of video streaming, but I guess that's all the fun bit of these Twitch streams. But anyway, thanks very much. I hope you all have a fabulous